Welcome all this evening to John McEwen Reserve for the Round 7 Australia Cup tie between the Goulburn Valley Suns and Hume City FC. I'm Liam Nash and I'm joined tonight in the commentary gantry by Blake Corso. Blake, how are we tonight?
Very well, thanks, Liam. A very exciting night here at the Shepparton Sports Precinct as the winner of this clash between the Suns and Hume City will make it into the national stage of the competition. Round of 32 beckons for one of these two sides here tonight.
Well, it's been labelled the biggest game in club history by GV Suns coach Craig Carley, and it's hard to agree that he's wrong in that statement. A massive night for the men in orange, and it is Hume City entering this clash as favourites, of course, playing their trade in NPL 1, 2 divisions higher than the Suns, currently in NPL 3. So a chilly night here in Shepparton. We're thankful it was raining all morning here in the Goulburn Valley, but it has ceased, and it looks like a pretty nice night for football. So thanks again to all who have joined us as the referee just checks his watch, making sure everything is set to go. And we are underway in round 7 of the Australia Cup here in Shepparton. It'll be the Suns to earn possession on the ball early through Greg Nash. He finds Matt Lalliott. That'll be given away. Picked up by Bosdawan. Big sliding challenge there by the Hume City midfielder. The Suns with a chance now to break out the right. Brocklebank slides it out to his right back in Adam Gatcombe. He'll look for a long ball over the top, cut out well by Hume. Early defending here to do by Tutu Tai, and he obliges. So sends that one out for a Hume City throw-in. So Hume City, no strangers to the occasion. Of course, their best finish in the Australia Cup was a semi-final berth. That was back in 2015. They lost out to the eventual victors Melbourne Victory, 3-0. They went on to play Victory the following year in the round of 16, where they lost 1-0. Whereas the Suns, this is the furthest they've ever progressed in the Australia Cup. Got to earlier rounds against NPL teams. They lost out 5-1 to Heidelberg in 2015, and it was an epic night back in 2018 here in Shepparton. They took on Bentley Greens. Suns actually going 1-0 ahead on that occasion through local legend Cody Selwood, but it was the Greens to emerge victors 3-1 on that day. But plenty of chatter around the sidelines here. It's a good crowd starting to form here at John McEwen for what's promised to be an epic night of football. This will be Nash. And some good real estate up, down, inside the Hume City half. That's dealt with there by Ochieng. It's going to be Ali Bowl looking to get onto that one. He's got Joe Adu-Peters to contend with, and Adu-Peters wins his first battle of the night. Ball sprayed out to the right, but it's a stray ball picked up there by Weir. Stands on it. Does Weir. Nice little bit of trickery to get around Giacarini, and he'll find his winger. Hume City still on the ball. Ball in. Early ball, hit it in. Back stick, and somehow that's evaded. I believe it was Ochieng at the back stick. Suns get away with an early one there, but just early signs of showing just exactly what Hume City are made of.
Yeah, Mark Ochieng there, desperately unlucky not to tap that one home to make it 1-0 for Hume. Much more frantic pace than we're used to seeing here at John McEwen Reserve. Hume definitely the more skillful of the two sides coming into this, obviously plying their trade in the NPL First Division. The Suns are definitely going to be chasing their tail for the majority of the night, you would think, Liam. But plenty of time to go, so definitely going to be a good game of football to be had in this one.
Yes, threats all over the park for Hume City. You can see the man out on the left wing, Dylan McGlade, the Irishman. He didn't feature in Hume City's 1-0 loss to Avondale at the weekend, but here is Ali Bowl. He's looking for his man in the middle. That's handy little stop down to his right by Suns custodian Jake Angelovsky. But But yes, McGlade just one of many threats that the visitors do possess. It's going to be Brocklebank now, the former Redbridge midfielder. He joined the Suns at the start of the year. It's been a handy little metronome in the heart of the Suns midfield all season. And is another one of the new recruits steaming onto it. Diminutive in stature, but dynamic with the ball at his feet, Taku Ishida. Maltby now. He'll slide it all the way back to Tennant. He'll spread it across to his centre-half pairing in Maricic. Hume City, you'd have to assume that for most of tonight they will hold the lion's share of possession. It'll be about what the Suns can do when they have the ball at their feet. Maltby, nice little first-time ball down the line, but Adu Peters has got all his defensive acumen about him and opts to chop that one onto the roof here at John McEwen. Ball inside. Bosduan slides it out to Weir. Looks for the 1-2 there with McGlade, but can't quite find the feet. Giaccherini, his first touch, goes back to Adam Gatcombe. And the pressure put on here by Hume City is immense. So we mentioned earlier, Hume City are certainly no strangers to making some good headway into the Australia Cup. Obviously, 2015 was their best finish, but 2019, they were no slouches either. They made it through to the quarterfinals where they took on A-League side Central Coast Mariners. They lost out 1-0 that year, but they didn't go without silverware back in 2019. They took out the Doherty Cup, beating Melbourne Knights 1-0. So that's headed away by Ochieng. And the Suns will get a throw courtesy of Greg Nash deep inside the Hume half. Nash. Back to England. It's a scuff ball by Nash. And Monahan will pick that one up. Ishida bearing down. It's dealt with there. Ball long. So Adu Peters, who's been an absolute force at the back for the Suns throughout the NPL 3 campaign. Still only 23 years of age, but wise beyond his years in terms of his footballing ability. Adu Peters gets on the drive. That's a handy ball down the line to Matt Lally, and he continues his run, does the big centre half. That's a good challenge there by Bosduan. The Suns will earn himself another throw. So just about 5 minutes played here at John McEwen. Scores still locked at 0-0. It's been a little bit of a cagey start, but both sides, you can tell there's plenty of feel in this one, Blake.
Yeah, definitely good assumption with the cagey start there, Liam. Both sides obviously prepared to leave everything out on the field. One way or another, we will have a winner tonight, whether it be extra time or penalties, if it's not done in the standard 90. A couple of matchups probably worth looking at would be Mark Ochieng on Greg Nash. Obviously played 22 times for Adelaide United, the Kenyan-born Ochieng. He's definitely going to be one of the key men for Hume City tonight. And we've seen Russell Curry already in the early stages of this game drop deep a number of times to try and retrieve the ball. He matches up well size-wise with Thomas Maricic at the heart of the Hume defence. So that'll definitely be a interesting matchup to watch tonight.
Where is Curry, the man we speak of? He's bearing down on goal. It was a great challenge there by Bosduan. Sun's still on the ball here. Here's the veteran. Jamie England gets on the drive. It's not the worst attempt. Probably just didn't get his head over the ball on that strike, but Curry, the man we speak of, with a nice little darting run through on goal. And his Oz Cup form has been nothing short of impeccable. 3 Cup hat-tricks in just 3 games. He leads the goal-scoring charts inside the Victorian bracket of the competition alongside Avondale's Manny Aguek with 9. Funnily enough, all 9 of Aguek's goals came in one game against Diamond Valley United, I believe back in round 4, whereas, of course, it was Curry. 3 goals on 3 separate occasions. He's been a bit of a revelation for the Suns, has the Scotsman, former Gretna 2008. striker. He's rangy. He's got the pace about him, and he knows where the net is. So Maricic and Tennant will certainly have some work cut out for them. But here is the opposite in Ali Bowl. Manages to flick it out wide, but again, Joe Edu-Peters just so solid at the back. He's going to be absolutely instrumental for the Suns this evening. Monahan finds McGlade. Little 1-2, and good bit of pressure put on them, so they're forced to go all the way back to the centre halves, Hume City. Maricic looks to dig one over the top. That's a well-weighted ball, but the touch just evaded Maltby, the right back. And Greg Nash will amble over to take the throw-in for the Suns. So we're looking at both sides starting lineups. They don't actually differ too much from the league. The Suns, they took on Burundara Eagles at the weekend. They managed a 2-1 win, and as we mentioned earlier on in the stream, it was Hume City going down 1-0 to Avondale. Hume, of course, 10th in NPL 1. The Suns enjoying a pretty good season in NPL 3. Of course, relegated from the division above last season, but they're certainly well within their rights to get promoted back up to the second division. They're currently sitting in third. But tonight, none of that matters because we are looking at the magic of the cup. So here's Matt Lalliott. Drops it back to Giaccarini. First time ball inside, but that won't find an orange foot. Big challenge there. It was, I believe, Gatcombe. He might receive an early caution. He does. Does Adam Gatcombe. That'll be the first card of the night, awarded to the Suns right back. And that's just 10 minutes into this fixture, so he'll be walking on eggshells for the remainder of this contest.
Yeah, definitely going to be a tough one for Gatcombe now. Remaining 80 minutes to play on a yellow card. A game of incredibly high stakes for the GV Suns. He's as you put it, going to be walking on eggshells, Liam, for the remainder of this. Can't afford to put a foot wrong, otherwise he will be off. And Suns will be down to 10 if he's not careful.
You look at a player like McGlade, so far he's already shown he looks to take players on, and that will just give him that extra spur of confidence. He knows if he can get the better of Gatcombe, he has a chance of getting the Suns right back sent off. So Hume through Ochieng on this right-hand side. It's picked up by Brocklebank and just chipped up the line. England, ever so industrious in the heart of the Suns midfield, is the Orangeman skipper. Of course, GV Suns coach Craig Carley describes him as one of the best midfielders kicking around in country Victoria. It is the Suns coach we should probably pay mention to. Of course, during the week he mentioned this was the biggest game in club history, and he knows a little bit about Hume City. He spent probably half a season with the side back in 2016, scored 7 goals in 13 appearances. That was coming off the back of an amazing 33-goal season for the Suns. And so Nash, of course, a stalwart of the hosts. He can't quite find a teammate, and neither can Hume. So Nash will stroll back and find Angelovski in net. That's a stray touch off the post. And Angelovski spared his blushes there. It's still not dealt with here by the Suns. That would have been calamitous, but it still might be as Hume streaking forward on goal. Luckily for the Suns keeper, it's not ended up in his own net. And now the Suns, they're on the break. Matt Lalliott looks for the dip from just inside Hume's half, and that one is not on target. But nonetheless, Blake, the Suns have really got away with one there.
Yeah, calamitous error from Angelovski there so early in the game too. So very lucky that one did not end up in his own net. Would have been an own goal if that was the case. Probably ball just a little bit slick underfoot as the dew's starting to set in here at John McEwen. Clear skies, so it's going to be a wet one as this game progresses. Something to watch out for as the ball becomes a lot more slick and fast-flowing in this one.
Well, considering the rain we've had throughout most of the week here in Shepparton, the pitch looks a good one. plenty of slick on the grass, so certainly opportunity for both sides to get the ball on the deck and play football. It's been an interesting sort of first 15 or so minutes. Obviously, Hume came bolting out of the blocks and looked the stronger of the two sides, but the Suns, you'd have to say, for the underdogs, they've certainly fought their way back into this contest, and they find themselves with a free kick just inside Hume's half. And when looking at how they've scored some of their goals in league fixtures, this is certainly an avenue of attack where they have focused on. It's the wide free kick in from Adam Gatcombe, who is looking for, of course, the tall timber, the likes of Curry, Joe Adu-Peters. Here's the ball. Ball in. It's had to be headed away there, I believe, by Tennant. Laliot. He gets the better of Ochieng. Can he swing one in the box for the Suns? Still going is Laliot. Expertly defended there by Mark Ochieng. Just sizing up his options. He's got runners down the line, but instead goes inside to McGlade, who's dropped into the heart of midfield, sporting a bleached bonnet. Interesting look by Hume, number 9. So Tutu Tyre spreads the ball out to Joe Adu-Peters. He's got plenty of space, finds Nash. First time ball back to Hashida. Looks for the 1-2 with Nash, and again, a little bit of a cheapie there given away by Bosdawan. So a couple of Suns players standing over it. England wants it short, and he gets it. Does really well, does England. Nash goes the long option, and that one was on target. Just had a visit from Goulburn Valley son, Geordie Elliott. Of course, we'll shout him out. It's his birthday today. Obviously not on the park tonight, but great to see he's got down to support the boys in orange. So Hume just looking to creep their way up the park. McGlade goes all the way back. It's a long ball, but that looks to have a bit too much mayonnaise on it, and that should trickle out for what will be a Suns throw-in.
Definitely seem to be playing their best football, Hume, when they keep the ball on the deck and zip it around quickly as they have been. Going to pose a few problems for the Suns if they can continue to do that for the full 90. Balls over the top haven't really worked out too well for Hume thus far. It's definitely going to be their short, sharp game that's going to possibly win them this match with the midfield 3 the Suns have got in today. All very capable players, obviously, but the golfing class starting to show a little bit as Hume have maintained vast possession of the ball in this one.
It's a valid point there, Blake, because early on in the game, Hume were popping the ball around like nobody's business, and they looked like they could have gone 1 or even 2 up early. But once the Suns have started creeping forward and put a little bit more pressure on the Hume midfield, they've started to go the long option, and the Suns are well equipped to deal with that. Tutu Tyre and Joe Adu-Peters at the back. Not many in the competition. They're going to be beating those two in the air. And of course, you got the veterans on the flanks in Gatcombe and Nash. Know a fair thing or two about defending. So McGlade, he's been a bit of a force for Hume, just playing an inverted role, and that's a ball over the top by Tennant. Finds the head of Bingham. Looks to be knocked down, but it's there. Eventually cleared there by Tutu Tyre. So Matt Laliot in the 10. Of course, loves to throw his weight around, does the Suns' number 6. He registered the first shot of the game. It was a audacious attempt from just about halfway. It was never troubling the Hume goalkeeper, Brian. So the Suns now. Gatcombe punches it in to Curry, does extremely well to hold off his man. Mopped up there by Maricic. Weir, back to Brian. Again, you can see Ochieng on this near side just looking for the long ball, but instead drops deep. Drops it short. Maltby. A little bit of a stray ball there by that man, McGlade, but there's Hume to get away with it. Bosduan looks to go round the bend. It's not the worst ball, and Angelovski has to have his wits about him to come out and clear it, but that ball in behind could be a dangerous option. So McGlade, he's come alive since dropping into the midfield. Looks to have swapped roles there with Bingham, who's drifted out, the former Central Coast man. Of course, plenty of pedigree about Bingham, as he's the son of former Mansfield Town and Stockport County forward John Bingham. And here's Weir. Big strike on goal. Bit of a nosebleed territory for the left back. And that one went sailing over the crossbar for a GV Suns goal kick. So we're about 20 minutes into this fixture here at John McEwen. Neither side able to break the deadlock just as of yet. Handy ball in. Can the Suns break now? Big challenge there by England, but it is Hume to come away with it. Given away there by McGlade, and the Suns can reset and look to get things going again. Angelovski lofts one out, looking for Giaccherini. It's a deft little touch back to his fullback. And that's a clear foul there by Bingham on Gatcombe. He goes early. Handy ball in. It's found Curry. What can he produce, the big man? But unfortunately, just a bit too much pressure there by the likes of Tennant and Maricic. Good pressure there by the Suns. Hume will just have to work their way out of this one. Again, the long option. That's a bit better. Nice touch there, and Ochieng could be looking to break away, but Nash covers his ground well and knocks it out for a Hume City throw-in.
Yeah, been a little bit starved of service, Mark Ochieng, in this first half. So he's moved all the way over to the left-hand side of the ground now to try and retrieve that ball for Hume City. Going to look to get a little bit more involved as this game progresses. He's definitely the danger man as far as Hume are concerned. Be good to see Brandon Giaccherini get on the ball a little bit more. He hasn't really had much of a sniff of it the first 20 minutes of this first half, so he's one who's going to look to prove to be a game changer for the Suns if they can find his feet and bring him into this one a little bit more often.
Well, Giaccherini was instrumental in the Suns' 2-1 win over Burundara in the league on the weekend. He pulled up with an absolute sledgehammer from about 25 yards, and it was around this range. Giaccherini still going. Looks to dig it into the box, but comes off a Hume City limb, and the Suns will pull it out wide for a corner. So a man who we probably haven't seen enough of in terms of Hume City is Monaghan in the middle. A man of his pedigree, of course, came through the ranks at Hibernian in the youth. He's well travelled. He's been around the blocks, spent some time in Iceland, did the number 5. But now he finds himself midweek in Shepparton taking on the GV Suns. What a story arc. Giaccherini goes close, near post. Knocked out, only as far as Gatcombe. Looks to get that one up and under, and that'll find the head of Adu Peters, who is judged to be offside. So Rory Bryan will just look to maybe wave the arms forward. Instead goes short. Hume City happy just to knock the ball around at the back. They've done it pretty well so far in the opening 25 or so minutes. Long ball out from Bryan, looking for Bingham. The touch is good, but it is picked up there by Brocklebank. England on the spin, goes back to Adu Peters. Ishida just dwelled a little bit long on the ball. It's advantage played by a referee. Long ball over the top, and Nash is at the back stick of all people, finds Elliott, goes all the way back to England. He's got a shot on him, instead dinks it towards the back stick, but easily read there by Weir, who can look to get Hume City on the break. Adu Peters does ever so well to pick out Nash. He'll go out to England. He'll find his midfield partner in Brocklebank. And does appear like Hume City have done a bit of their research on the big man Russell Curry. They've looked to double up on him because he's a man you can't really afford to give too much time one-on-one. And so far, you'd have to say it's been the Hume defensive pairing of Maricic and Tennant who have got the better of the Scotsman. McGlade. Back to Weir. Tennant with a touch out and spreads it excellently to Maltby. He'll be looking for the 1-2, but just finds the feet of Ashita instead. Laliot. Bit of pressure on him and forced to go all the way back. Nash now. Nice little ball down the line. Ashita. Still going, does ever so well. It was Russell Curry demanding it. A couple of Suns players screaming for the Japanese winger to deliver it early, and you'd have to say they had a point. Bingham. 1-2 with McGlade, and it looked like it was going to be Ali Ball who was on the burst. He's a man who hasn't touched a whole heap of the football so far. And here's the 1v1 duel we were talking about earlier. It's going to be Ochieng on Nash. Ochieng doesn't fancy it, instead goes back to Maltby. Little inside ball. Still on the ball is Maltby. It's unfavoured left-hand side, and that'll be cleared away well by Adu Peters. So that little passage of interplay was really just a bit of a taste of what Hume City is capable of.
We talk about Joe Adu Peters quite frequently, Liam, but geez, you can tell he's not at all threatened by the occasion that tonight proposes.
Ooh. Yeah, we'll get back to that shortly, but a rasping strike by one of the Hume City midfielders just flashed past Jake Angelovski's post, and that would have certainly brought the away fans up off their feet. Yeah, Adu Peters, he's looked absolutely at home tonight. He makes some of the NPL 3 strikers look like garden gnomes at times, but he's been an absolute stand-up in this one so far. He's done a pretty good job on Ali Bowl, who is a pretty handy striker. But that earlier chance was the first real shot on goal from Hume City. Suns really yet to register one on target so far into this contest, but you'd have to say, going in as underdogs, the Suns have certainly gave a good account of themselves. That's something that Coach Craig Carley was screaming out for to the press. He said these sort of opportunities don't come around all too often in careers, the chance to perhaps book a place in the national stage, but that's an excellent turn there by Maltby. Puts Nash in a absolute spin cycle. Couldn't do much with it though, and Monaghan will glide past a couple of Suns men, and that was a professional foul by Matt Laliot. So Hume get it underway on the restart quickly. Ball out by Weir. It's taken away from him. Challenge off the ball there. Sees Matt Laliot on the deck, and this is something you don't want to see. A bit of a melee broken out on the halfway. It was straight into it. Referee brandishing a yellow card. We're not sure how many will be dished out at the end, but we might have just missed it. It looked like it was Brocklebank who was caught up in some sort of bear hug with his midfield opposite. Referee was very quick to rush over and look to calm things down, something we don't like to see on a football field. So the situation has calmed down a touch, but we'll just wait and see what comes from the aftermath.
Yeah, just tensions boiling over, I think, there, Liam. Probably nothing more than a couple of slices of cheese to be dished out for this one. Obviously, you never like to see any kind of melee in any code of sport, really. But I think this one was fairly short-tempered and over very quickly. But we touch on Brocklebank there being at the centre of that heated argument. The defensive midfield pivot of him and Jamie England has been outstanding so far tonight. Probably haven't played quite as much football together in recent times as they'd like. Obviously, Brocklebank, a couple of suspensions, and Jamie England, the odd injury or two, but they are definitely crucial not only for the Suns tonight, but also their league success in this 2023 season. They're forming a very, very tight-knit partnership with Matt Lalliott playing slightly more advanced than we've seen in years gone by at the Suns, filling in that number 10 role very nicely so far this evening, as well as multiple matches both in the Cup and the League for the Suns this season. It's interesting, defensive partnership of Maricic and Tennant for Hume, really doing a good job of controlling Russell Curry early as well. A very, very zonal marking system seems to be working quite well for them. It's not just one of the two centre halves following Curry around. They're each taking responsibility for one side of the ground, and seems to be working and paying dividends for Hume thus far, Liam. I think Curry might have met his match with this centre half pairing.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting to see how that battle pans out throughout the night. We had word from our pitchside correspondent Aidan Payne that it was the Suns' technical director Billy Marshall going off his head. He wasn't happy with what he saw in that brief little struggle beforehand, but it's going to be a yellow card there for Joe Adu-Peters. We were just speaking on how brilliant he's been so far tonight and throughout the 2023 season, but he'll be cautioned, and again, that's two Suns players on cards so far. And we're just waiting to see if another might be added. I think that might be the lot so far. So just something for Suns gaffer Craig Carley to have a little bit of a think on. He's got Joe Adu-Peters, the centre back, and his right back Adam Gatcombe, both cautioned early. Can't imagine he'd be forcing a change too early on, but we'll just have to wait and see what Hume City can produce. They'll be looking to really bear down on goal now and get in those 1v1 situations. Maybe coax the defender into making a silly mistake, and of course a man advantage would go a hell of a long way towards moving through to the round of 32 stage. So here we are. It's going to be 2-2 tie, right on the halfway line here. That's low. Flicked on. Up goes Brocklebank. Still on for the Suns. England with a low drive straight into the palms of Rory Bryan. So it's been England with a couple of strikes on goal. That was the first one of his on target. Never troubling Bryan, of course, but good to see from a home side's perspective that they are certainly not going to be going out without a fight in this contest here. So ball forward. Ochieng, he's looked lively. Little 1-2 there with McGlade. Those two have both been ever so dangerous when on the ball, and so has that man Maltby. Tennant slides it over to Maricic. Goes the long ball, but it's Gatcombe to run across and get a toe on it. Potted out for a Hume City throw. Here's Weir. Throws it into Bosdowan. Finds Bingham. Deft little ball around the corner, and it's Maltby screaming for it. He's got a couple of acres ahead of him, does Maltby. Flashes it high and wide over the post, but really prime chance there for Hume City. It was Maltby, the right back. It's perhaps a position where you'd prefer the likes of Elibol or Ochieng to be on the end of that one, but nonetheless, a gilt-edged opportunity for the visiting side.
Yeah, Ochieng really starting to grow into this game as we approach half-time. Obviously, a few extra minutes to be added on given that little melee, but he's definitely one who's grown a lot later in this first half, providing a lot of spark for Hume City. Nash has accounted himself very well thus far, but Ochieng definitely starting to grow into this one. Also, Khan Ali Bowl has been a lot more lively in the last 10 minutes or so. He's through on goal. Offside. Unlucky. Khan Ali Bowl ruled offside by the AR. Jake Keating. Would have been a golden opportunity for Hume there to go 1-0 up.
Yeah, it was actually Dylan McGlade, I believe, the number 9. He found himself just in an offside position, but that's a man you certainly don't want to be giving too much time in front of the net. Fortunately for the Suns, it was, of course, Jake Keating to raise his flag. That one was brought back, but Hume City, after weathering a little bit of pressure, maybe a 5-10 minute storm from the Suns, have started to wrest back a bit of possession and dominance on this fixture. I think the Suns will be happy to go into the break at 0-0 here, but Bosdowan wanted something to say about that. Here he is again. Nice little flick around the corner. It's Tutu Tyre standing up as man well, and that's just maturity from the youngster. Tutu Tyre. He's really locked down his starting spot in Suns colours this season. Of course, a product of the club. Came up through the junior ranks. And he's got a bit to deal with there. It's a dangerous ball from Matt Lelliott. Asked a lot of Tutu Tyre there, but luckily Brocklebank is there to clean up. And great footwork there by Adam Gackham. Now the Suns can get on the burst. Here's Brandon Giaccarini. We've seen what he can do from these opportunities. Skips inside, but it is ever so well defended there by Hume City. The first real flash, you could see an absolute rise from the crowd there as Giaccarini streaked forward on goal. Suns now will have to track back and do some defending. That's a cracking ball through the middle. Ali Bowl looks to run through on goal. And a dubious call there. It was Ali Bowl who looked to be through on goal. It was flagged for offside by Jake Keating, but to be honest, I don't think he was even getting where it was. Joe Adu-Peters looked like he was on a motorbike there. Absolutely mowed him down in about 2 seconds flat. So perhaps Ali Bowl came into this contest thinking of a free rein up front, but Joe Adu-Peters has made him think otherwise, I think. Curry. He's a bit of a stray ball. Bosdowan. You can tell that's exactly the ball they're looking for, Hume City. Just looking to really punch it through the guts, splitting the two centre halves. Good touch there by Hashida, but it'll be well cleared there by Hume City. Ochieng. Nash prods it forward. Unfortunate there by Hashida, but Blake Corso, the crowd in the last 2 or 3 minutes have really started to stir to life, and it's starting to get exciting.
Yeah, they were a little bit slow getting inland, but just looked over my shoulder, and this place is absolutely packed to the rafters here at the main grandstand at McEwen Reserve, Shepparton. Amazing turnout. A lot of locals here tonight in what's been dubbed the biggest game in the club's history. Great to see so many local people here supporting the club that's been through a few tough times in the last couple of years. Obviously the relegation last year, but everyone around here's really rallied in the local area and getting behind the Suns in this one.
Well, I dare say it, but a goal here by the hosts would send this place absolutely berserk. You can already see as Giaccarini was bearing down on goal beforehand, you could see players starting to creep off their seats. Sorry, the fans. And if he had managed to skip past Tennant and whack that one into the top corner, it would have been bedlam. On equal part, there are a few Hume City travelling supporters here in the stands, and they're equally as vocal. Just builds to this absolutely electric atmosphere here at John McEwen, and as we always mention, this cup is magical. So, ball sprayed out to Adu-Peters. Jenks inside, goes on a little bit of a mazy run, still going, but doesn't want to lose that ball in that position, and Nash is fortunate to come across and clear the ball. McGlade looking to take his man on, and Adu-Peters will be happy enough to stick his boot through that one. Well defended there by Weir. Bosdowan. Big tackle there by England. Hume City still on the ball. Maricic just happy to lumber forward and perhaps go the short option, which he does eventually do, and Weir. Lovely flick there by Bingham. Still on the ball are Hume City, looking for the ball through to Ali Bowl. Adu Peters again across to shepherd that one out. And unfortunately for the Suns, he's conceded a corner. He cannot quite believe it. He's got his arms in the air protesting, but referee has, of course, already made his decision. And he'd have to be quite careful with the words he's currently saying, because he is, of course, on a yellow card. Here's the big number 5. So the Suns do lead the set piece count, but now Hume City have a chance to show what they're made of from the dead ball. Looks like it's going to be McGlade from the left-hand side, looking to whip in the in-swinger. Here he is. McGlade goes towards the middle of the box, just sort of streaks all the way out, and that'll eventually trickle out for a GV Suns throw. So you can see Suns defender Greg Nash in no hurry at all to take this throw in. Say the way the Suns are going, be happy enough to, of course, see this one out till the half at a deadlock, and perhaps look to pinch one in the second, whereas Hume City, of course, being the favourites, they would want a goal as soon as physically possible. We know Hume City do have goals in them, of course. Back in round 5 of this current Australia Cup campaign, they absolutely thrashed Keilor Wolves 8-0. There's a number of players on the park tonight who got on the score sheet. Tyre goes to Nash. First time ball. Nice little one-touch passing there by the Suns. And here's a ball through. Hashida, can he reach it? It looks like it's going to be Brian to slide into that one. And he's left a leg on Hashida there. It's the Japanese down on the ground, just clutching his shin by the looks of it. It was a challenge, of course, that Brian had to make. It was a lovely little passage by the Suns. It was a 1-2-3-4, and the ball sent through looking for Ishida. Still alive here for the Suns. So we're entering the last 5 minutes here of regular time in the first half. Scores, of course, locked at 0-0. Suns here with an opportunity. Ishida does well. Nash can't win his challenge, and Oshieng now goes down the long, and that's a sloppy ball there by the number 12 from Hume City. A little bit of frustration. England back to Nash. Nice little ball into Curry. Oh, expert spin, but ball just evades him. Curry, he'd be a little bit disappointed with the lack of service. Obviously, he probably didn't expect he's going to get 20, 30 touches in the first half playing against an opposition of the caliber of Hume City, but nonetheless, he'll look to make the most of it when the ball comes to him, just like now. So here is Curry. Holds up the ball. Leg trailed on him, still going as the big man. Digs on goal, bounces around. England on his left foot, slams it home for GV Suns. Jamie England sets the crowd on fire with an absolute hammer blow. On the half volley, off the left foot, and into the back of the net. Jamie England, you star.
Jamie England, still early days, but if that's the goal that wins it, build a gold statue of that man out the front. Build that statue. We'll all chip in. We'll pay for it. Unbelievable hit. Right on the stroke of half-time too. An ideal situation for the GV Suns. Going to be coming into half-time 1-0 up. Hume absolutely rattled Liam. Definitely started to look a little bit under the pump in the 5 or so minutes in the lead-up to goal. We were just talking about Russell Curry not quite getting the service that he needed to have any viable shots on target, but it took Jamie England to absolutely thunderbolt that one home. A little bit of individual brilliance from the big man. Unbelievable stuff.
Well, it was like Mount Vesuvius had erupted here in the stands, a sea of orange up on their feet, and I mean, if there was ever a goal to cheer about, it was that one. We had the perfect angle. It was almost swerving outside the post and bent back into the side netting, and there was absolutely nothing Rory Bryan could do about it in Hume City's net. That one was right where the Spiders live, and Of course, some of the great work done early there by Russell Curry, just the Dogs' work, creating that opportunity. And, I mean, Jamie England on the spin only needed one look on goal, and he's absolutely dispatched that. So, obviously, we don't want to get too ahead ourselves in the Suns camp, but taking a 1-0 lead into halftime will go a long way towards doing a job. And Taku Ishida doing some dirty work down this left-hand side. Hume City, see if they can produce a reply in the late stages of this first half here. It's a big header there by Gatcombe. England, the goal scorer. He's looking to chase down Ochieng. Here is Ochieng. And he's defended well there by Nash. And Ochieng can't quite believe it. Of course, he's got the 2 caps for Australia under 17 up against the Kiwi. And so far it's been pretty well poised battle between the two. Big tackle there by Lalliot. And again, he looked to have set Curry away there, but it was well cleaned up there by Tennant. Now here's Hume City on the break. What can they conjure up? Ball out wide. Here's Bingham. Digs it in towards the back stick, and it's punched away. It had to be there. McGlade, ball still alive, and Nash defends ever so well and punches it only far as Bosdowan. And that's a late tackle there by Matt Lalliot. Ref goes into his side pocket. It looked like he was going to be clutching for a red just for a split second there. And Matt Lalliot, of course, we know he's never too far away from a yellow card. We can see a bit of tension boiling over, of course. Pretty nasty one there by the Suns' number 6. And Hume City with a opportunity from the dead ball about 25 yards out from goal.
Yeah, very agricultural challenge there from Matty Lalliot. We've seen a few of them. But, yeah, probably really the colour of the card could have gone either way there, Liam. I think he's a little bit fortunate to escape with just the yellow. That's now 3 GV Suns players on yellow cards in the first half of this one. Currently leading 1-0, but golden opportunity for Hume here to level it up just before the break.
Yes, this would, of course, silence the home crowd if Hume City was able to convert this one. It looks like it's going to be McGlade standing over it, the number 9. But just on that earlier challenge from Matt Lalliot, we saw in the stages leading up, in fact, it's going to be Tennant to earn a yellow for his troubles as well. Perhaps a few words of dissent aimed at the referee following the slight scuffle that ensued. But yes, it looked like it was the Suns midfielder on the ground as Hume City broke away, and perhaps Matt Lalliot was just trying to get one of his own back. Not the smartest decision, as Hume City now find themselves in a good bit of territory. So, Angelovski just directing his rule. Surprisingly, they've got all 5'2" of Taku Ishida in the wall. Bit of an interesting call from the keeper. So, here's McGlade for Hume City, straight into the wall. Suns get away with that one, and as we can see, the seconds ticking down. It's, of course, gone over the allotted 45 minutes, and Suns just putting everything into every single challenge here. They'll be desperate to get into the sheds 1-0 up. So, Weir for Hume City. Flings it in, looking for Ali Bowl. We get it back, Will Weir. Drives it inside. Handy ball into Bosdowan. McGlade. He's been dynamic. Ball out wide to Maltby. Nash on his case. Drives inside. Big tackle there by Brocklebank. Leaves Maltby on the floor. Hume still with the ball here. McGlade, he has been one of the absolute superstars for Hume City tonight. And that'll signal the end of the opening half here in the round 7 Australia Cup tie between Hume City And the GV Suns, it is the Suns, the home side, to take a 1-0 lead into the break. It was an absolute pile driver of a strike there from Jamie England. And the home side are very content. We can see a lot of smiling faces around here in the stands. But just before we depart for halftime, I'll get your final thoughts, Blake Corso.
Yeah, good half from the Suns there, Liam. Obviously 1-0 up at the break. Maybe daring to dream a little bit, but the job is only half done, as they say. Hume, a team of their calibre, definitely going to try not to panic too much in this second half. Only 1-0 down. They definitely can find an equaliser, more than capable of doing so, but just going to try and refrain from hitting that big red panic button. Still got 45 to go, so definitely a very interesting second half teed up here at John McEwen for this one.
Well, thanks to everyone at home who have joined us for the first half. We'll catch you in the second. welcome back to John McEwen Reserve for the second half of this Round 7 Australia Cup tie between the Goulburn Valley Suns and Hume City. Of course, the Suns do lead 1-0 coming into the second half. It was a goal courtesy of Jamie England. Of course, before the game, Suns coach Craig Carley referenced it as the biggest game in club history, and history could be made here at John McEwen Reserve if the Suns are to progress into the round of 32. They've never before made the national stage. Hume City, of course, no strangers to the next phase of the competition, and they'll be looking to bite back in the second half. So the Suns here underway. Stray touch there by Joe Adu-Peters, but somehow he's produced an absolutely incredible ball out right to Giacarini, looking to go one-on-one with Weir. Giacarini, it's well deflected there by Weir. That'll be eventually cleared out. McGlade into Ochieng. Tutu Tyre goes direct, looking for Giacarini, but with the rain that we had in Shepparton earlier this morning, there's plenty of dew on the park, and that one will eventually skid out for a Hume City goal kick. So we can see a couple of substitutions made by Hume City at the half. It's going to be the left winger, Chawab Rezai. He's come on. And Ben Bowler in the midfield. And here's Weir. The number 4 looks out towards Bingham, but it's Giacarini sliding out. It's met by a roar from the home crowd. So it looks like the man making way is Harry Monaghan and Khan Alibol. Long ball out looking for Weir. Off the chest and back down to McGlade. Lalliot across to clear for the Suns. Curry. Touch just evades him, and that's well swept up there by Maricic. He's just having a word with the lino, saying he was being pulled there by Curry. Nothing given, and Hume City still on the ball here. England, the goal scorer, slides in. And so, well, the Suns do find themselves 1-0 up. You can imagine with the calibre of substitutes that Hume City have, it's only a job half done here. When we talk about performers for either side in the first half, I think for me, on Hume City's side, it had to be that man on the ball now, McGlade, just everywhere. But in terms of GV Suns, who caught your eye, Blake Corso?
Well, Suns-wise, I think it's hard to go past Joe Adu-Peters. Definitely been rock solid at the back so far for the Suns, and is part of the reason why they currently have a clean sheet to their name. His centre-back partner, Tutu Tyre, also been faultless in the first half of this one, and also the opposite centre-back, Thomas Maricic for Hume City, has been an absolute Goliath in the heart of defence there. Absolute man-mountain containing Russell Curry with a sort of ease. He's made it look almost easy. So he's definitely been a very good player for Hume in the first half, and going to need to maintain that in the second if they are not to concede again.
Nice sort of interplay there by the Suns, but dealt with well by Hume City. That's out to Ochieng. Nash is across to head that one out. So if you missed the first half, I'd certainly recommend sticking around for the second. Electrifying is one superlative you could use to describe the first 45 or so minutes here at John McEwen, and the second has started with the same sort of intensity. As we can see Maltby, the right back, bursting down the line. Can't quite keep that one in. Throw in for the Suns. It's well won by Bowler. Headed over the top. It's just dragged and missed there by the new man, Rezai.
Yeah, I think the key for the Suns to maintain their lead and clinch a victory in this one, probably just continue the way they've been playing, Liam. I think if you park the bus, so to speak, and just invite pressure for for an entire 45. Hume have probably got just a little bit too much class not to score if you really invite that pressure. So I think they're just going to need to continue exactly what they did in the first half. They've set up the exact same way, the Suns, and from a Hume perspective, probably just try not to panic too much. Like I say, there is class in that squad, and they will get their chances. Just a matter of whether they can take them or not.
Absolutely, and it seems like Hume are operating with almost a 4-man attack. Got a bit of more of a tall presence up top now, with Bingham shifting into a number 9 role. He's going to have McGlade rolling just off him, perhaps in more of a false 9. And then, of course, you got the runners of Ochieng and Razai around him. That's a hell of a lot for the Suns' defence to contend with. And there again, McGlade just so sharp on the ball, skips away from England with deft ease, squares it into the midfield, and that's left that man Weir at left back out free, and that's going to be an offside call. Now the Suns faithful are certainly getting chirpy on the sideline. It's almost like every call in the Suns' favour is going to be met by a bit of a cheer, and for good reason. Obviously, the magnitude of this occasion is certainly not lost by anyone here in Shepparton tonight. Can only imagine what sort of scenes will unfold should the Suns win at the end of this game. Plenty of work left to do, and Hume City ever so dangerous. They only need one opportunity to the visitors. Angelovski gets underneath that one, sends it up towards Russell Curry. Looks to bounce off his man, but it's going to be Tennant to run across and deal with it for Hume City. So Hume just knocking it around the back there. It's lofted up, looking for Weir. Gatcombe across, strong header. Rezai. Back to Gatcombe. He's earned a push for his troubles. He can't believe it. Suns managed to win the ball back, and Giacarini's dragged down. Still going. Giacarini. And that eventually is blown the way of the Suns. So the feeling really starting to creep into this contest here. It was Adam Gatcombe. He was furious that the referee didn't call for what looked like a barge in the back. Suns worked tirelessly to win the ball back, and it was a great run there by Giacarini. He earns a foul for his troubles. And so, as a fly on the wall here, Blake, how good is it to hear this sort of noise, which we don't often see here at John McEwen?
I definitely haven't seen a crowd of this size for probably a number of years here in Shepparton. It's great to see the town rallying around. Obviously, the relegation last year did hurt a few of the attendance figures here in Shepparton, but everyone is well behind the team tonight. Oh, Curry! Oh, twisting and reaving Russell Curry. Flagged offside in the end. Very unfortunate.
Hume City wasting no time here, looking to get on the break. It was Rezai. Nice little ball into Bozyadan. One again there by Rezai. So Hume City now just have kicked up the gear stick a couple of notches. They've got a certain urgency to their game, which we perhaps didn't see quite as often in the first half. And you can see just how far forward the Hume City players are starting to creep in. They're only really leaving the two centre halves back inside their own half. There's Ochieng. He's dropped in deep to receive. Suns sitting up in a bit of a low block here. They're not giving too much opportunity. It's going to be those sort of long balls that the visitors are going to have to target. Giacarini, he'll cut that one out from reaching the dangerous feet of McGlade. So we're just demanding options. He'll eventually find one in McGlade. Nice little 1-2. Here is number 9, still on it. There's the tricky number 9. He's got Brocklebank and spins him with relative ease. Oh, it was left there by Ochieng. Nice little idea. You could see what he was trying to do, just leave it for the likes of Bingham, but probably just weren't on the same wavelength where the two Hume City men. England now. Just about reaches Gatcombe, and he's got acres ahead of him. Here goes the Suns' number 2. What can he do with it? Can Adam Gatcombe? Looks for the inside ball, and it was just a bit too predictable there. Maricic read that one without too much hesitation. Weir. Bingham. Nice little spin on Nash, but no foul given. Suns again. Giacorini probably just didn't quite meet it on the bounce, and it trickles out for a Hume City throw. So looking at these two teams here, Blake, it's almost hard to believe that they're 2 degrees of separation in terms of their divisions that they currently play in. These two are looking ever so well matched tonight.
Yeah, definitely, Liam. I think Hume sort of almost looked a little bit scared at times, especially in that first half there. Maybe not quite expecting the Suns to come out with such ferocity and gusto as they did, and Suns have really outperformed in their league so far this season, sitting third, obviously. But yeah, definitely playing well advanced beyond their league. The Suns really bringing it to Hume tonight, and at the moment the odds are well and truly in the Suns' favour.
Well, we'll wait to see if that is still the case after this corner. It's going to be McGlade whipping it in. He goes towards the back stick. Header in, and that was a bit of a spurned opportunity there by Hume City. But as much as perhaps the Suns had more chances, more opportunities, look more dangerous in the first half, it's of course the visitors that have come out with a bit of a sting in the tail here. As you mentioned earlier, Blake, the Suns cannot afford to sit back and just invite pressure from Hume City, because the NPL 1 side will punish them for it. And with the new man on, the likes of Bowler and Rezai, there's some fresh legs on the park for the visitors. So Angelovski lofts it high. It'll be looked to be held up. It catches Curry square on the head there, and Taku Ishida will chase that one down. Instead goes to Gatcombe, and he's missed that. That leaves a bit of an opportunity, but a great challenge there by the youngster Giacorini. He's having a magnificent game, perhaps not as much on the ball, but his work off it has been remarkable. Rezai. Back to Ware. Slides it all the way back to Bryan. He'll find Tennant. Slides it into Maltby. He can do nothing but return it back to his centre half. So I think Hume City, the key to breaking this one open will be stretching the Suns. They're pretty compact in the midfield. The trio of England, Brocklebank, and of course Matt Lalliott, who's applying a bit of pressure up top. And that's the sort of thing that the Suns definitely won't mind, the long ball option. Tutu Tyre. He'll drive it in. He's asking a bit there of Giacorini. Unhappy. Big challenge there by Jamie England, the goal scorer. On Bosdowan. And Weir again. So you can, of course, tell the class that Hume City have on the ball, knocking it from man to man, but perhaps just haven't been as effective. And the Suns just clinging on for dear life here. Every single 50-50, you can tell they're up for it. Definitely not shirking a tackle. Ball down. Weird. Big tackle there, and that will be blown for a foul. So not a foul you want to give away from a Suns perspective. That's a freebie granted to Hume City, and it looks like it's going to be the left foot of Ware whipping this one in for Hume. So here we have Hume City's third change of the night. It's going to be that man, the right back, Maltby, making way for Yagub Mustafa. So obviously a more attacking substitution here made by the visitors. You can't blame the manager for doing so, finding themselves a goal down with about half an hour here left to play in Shepparton. So the Suns have stood tall from most set pieces here. Can they do it again? Ball in towards the back stick, and that has found the feet of Nash eventually. He'll drive it only as far as Bowler, who can only ricochet off his leg out for a Suns throw.
We definitely talk about the 12th man a lot in football terms, Lamb, but as the 12th man, that being the GV Suns faithful, is absolutely roaring tonight, really trying to claw their side over the line here. Every touch by a GV Suns player is being met with applause and it's really helping spur the team on. Quite a few Hume City supporters here too, but vastly outnumbered by the Sheppartonians, really making the bulk of the noise here tonight.
Yes, well, the 12th man is something that can't be quantified. It does not show up in the stats column, but gee, it certainly feels like it's doing something here. It's deafening right next to the commentary box here at John McEwen. We can barely hear ourselves think, let alone talk. And so Hume, of course, they'll be looking to really start to open up the shoulders and swing for the fences here. 3 substitutes. They do have some fresh legs on the park. The Suns yet to have gone to the bench. And so, of course, as we love to do here, the John McEwen Reserve, we like to shout out some products. And of course, 2 of the more famous GV Suns, Alo and Grand Koal, they both are looking to suit up for the Olyroos tonight at 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time against Qatar in the Maurice Ravello tournament. So best of luck to the Koal boys. Of course, well loved around Shepparton, cut their teeth on this very park here. It'd be great to see them in the green and gold tonight. So flicked on. Russell Curry. There's Gatcombe, looks to find Giacarini. It's not the worst touch, but Maricic, as he's done all night, just breezes over and pelts that one out for a GV Suns corner kick. Gee, Maricic has been just so tidy, hasn't he, Blake?
Oh, absolute Goliath at centre-back so far tonight. He's been just really dealt with everything quite comfortably, and it's probably the only reason Hume aren't any more than 1-0 down at this point.
Joe Adu-Peters has done the unthinkable. GV Suns, against all odds, lead Hume City 2-0. And the biggest game in GV Suns history is living up to the billing. You better believe it. Ball in from the back stick, lofted high and handsome, and none other than Joe Adu-Peters, who's been superb all night, rises the highest to nod that one down past Brian in Hume City's net. And that's 2-0, Blake. I can hardly believe it myself.
Oh, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but the crowd is going absolutely ballistic. 2-0 up, the GV Suns, 17 minutes into this second half. No one, not even the ultimate optimist, thought that something like this would be possible. Joe Adu-Peters with a towering header there. Unbelievable. Hume in all sorts. Cannot believe it. Oh!
And what a save there from Angelovski to keep the scoreline at 2-0. Meanwhile, the Suns look to be on the break there. And big tackle there by Gatcombe. He has certainly got to be careful, the number 2. He's already been cautioned on a yellow. But let's just revisit that earlier chance. It was only 30 or so seconds after the Suns had gone down there and scored. It was excellent work there on the right wing by Mark Ochieng. Lofted the ball towards the back stick, and meeting it was, I believe, Bingham, and it took everything there from Angelovski to keep that one out. Low to his left and managed to knock it out. So Suns still with some defending to do, but this game has just kicked into overdrive here. Do not shy away from your screens. This one is going the distance. Mustafa goes towards McGlade in a favourable position, but he will be judged to be offside. He can't quite believe it. And so while the Roars bellow around McEwen Reserve, they do have to be reminded, the crowd, that still plenty of football left to be played here, just under half an hour. So Angelovski, the hero from the earlier chance, he'll dig it forward, looking for Curry. Gets enough on it, but Maricic will fling off the boot of Curry and out for the Hume City throw.
Yeah, Suns obviously got the 3 players on the yellow card. Adam Gatcombe probably the one who has to be most careful. He's given away a couple of fouls in this second half. He could be one that Coach Craig Carley looks to change. Maybe a Willie Salima type to come on at right back for the Suns. Still plenty of time to go in this second half. Will not want to get himself sent off.
Yes, Gatcombe certainly does need to be careful. But it is great that the Suns do have the luxury of the likes of Sowie Luma. Of course, a hard runner. Is pretty used to this level of competition. Good header there by Tutu Tyre. Still on the ball, Rezai. Cleared again by Tyre. One of the unsung heroes for the Orangemen tonight. And here we are. It will be the first substitute of the night. And in fact, it's going to be James Lelliott. What a story that is. A man who's missed plenty of football over the past couple of seasons through injury after injury. He'll join his brother Matt on the park tonight in this absolute screaming match of football here. And of course is Gatcombe, who will likely receive a bit of a clap from the home crowd. He's put in a serviceable shift in Shepparton. And there it is, of course. It's more than a clap, in fact. He gets a standing ovation. Might be a first. So here's Tennant. Goes short, Bingham. Ochieng now. He'll go out to Mustafa. Back to Ochieng. Digs it in. Handy ball. Flicked on. Just off target there by the big man, Bingham. So, frustration rife within the Hume City camp. You can imagine just what's going on the bench. Manager Watson would be tearing his hair out at this sort of stage of the game. 2-0 down against the underdogs. So Angelovski just deploying perhaps a little bit of time-wasting tactics. Here is Angelovski. Goes high. Up rises Brocklebank, but on the win is Bowler. Push forward, and Adu Peters launches that the way the Russell Curry. Here's the battle we've been waiting for all night. Maricic not having a bar of it and prods it out for a Suns throw. So there has been absolutely no passengers on either side here tonight. It's been hammer and tong, tooth and nail, whatever you want to call it, but this game has been an absolute epic so far. Thankfully for those in attendance, plenty more to play. So here are Hume City through the industry of wear. That's cut out by Matt Lelliott. Another one of the Suns' unsung heroes. Rezai slides it out. It's Tennant who has a few yards ahead of him. Shifts it onto the right and finds Mustafa. Adu Peters again, he's everywhere. He's like the boogeyman. He'll be popping up in Hume City's nightmares tonight. Bowler, a little bit quiet since he came on, but does the simple things correctly, which is what you want in that sort of holding midfielder at number 8 role. Ball over to Bingham. Bit of space left for Mustafa. Tricky ball around the bend, and that is another offside called. So it's just that frustration from the Hume players. Of course, the forwards are making some top-notch runs, and unfortunately, they can't quite stomach the fact that they're just making them a little bit too prematurely. So that'll be a yellow card for Bingham, the big man. Another one of Hume City's players put into the book tonight. There's been a fair few cards. I believe we're up to 5 for the night. But how about we revisit that Joe Adu Peters goal? It was almost a bit of confusion amongst it, Blake. But, I mean, how crucial could that be for the Suns?
Oh, absolutely banging hit by Joe Adu Peters there. Yeah, definitely a major advantage for the Suns now. 2-goal lead. Hume, 1 goal is no longer enough. They'll need 2 just to draw this one. Tension's really starting to boil over. Hume just can't seem to comprehend how they keep getting flagged offside. They have all looked offside from our position albeit very tight calls, but I think they're starting to hit those panic stations a little bit now, Hume. Probably had a few good opportunities saved and a few just inches either side of the bar. As we see GV Suns making a substitution now. On is Darcy Paulick. Off comes Matty Lalliott, who's had an absolute beast of a game thus far. I'll see Paulick slotting into the number 10 role for the GV Suns. Some fresh legs there.
Yes, Matt Lalliott, an absolute warrior. He puts his body on the line and his head where it hurts. Of course, it wouldn't be a GV Suns fixture without Matt Lalliott picking up a yellow card, and Craig Carley, just with the way this game has potential to boil over, he's probably thinking best to get Matt Lalliott off before it could cause any further damage. And taking his place is the ever silky operator Darcy Paulick in the 11. He's a bit of a metronome. He'll be looking to get things ticking. Big touch there by Tutu Tyre. McGlade was, of course, away. Giaccarini now. Lovely touch there by Giaccarini. Can he get another? Still going. Giaccarini squares it. And it had to be deflected there. It was either Tennant or Rezai by Hume City. And another player on the ground for the Suns. It's a man you don't want to see on the floor. Jamie England, the initial goal scorer for the Suns. And the home side could be forced into making another change. Of course, Jamie England susceptible to injury. He has been sidelined for a number of weeks so far in the NPL 3 campaign, and he looks to be in some degree of discomfort here. Mind you, it was a blistering run, from Giaccarini down the right-hand side. He does not look out of place at this level. He's been one of the Suns' shining talents in years gone by, and he's really added a few more strings to his bow in recent years, goals obviously being one of them. He certainly knows where the net is, does the youngster, and almost found it there, if not by a pretty vital touch by the Hume City defender. So England gets back to his feet. He's got a little bit of a limp on, perhaps a little bit of blood coming from the lip, but knowing just what that man's made of, I think he'll be back out on the park in no time. In the meantime, the Suns have a corner. It's going to be Giaccarini, who won the corner for the Suns, stepping over it. Goes towards the back stick again, goes up. And it's going to be a foul blown on Russell Curry. Hume City just streaking forward. They're desperate to get this one back into play. Won't be able to do so just yet, and here we go, Maricic. Slides it out, cut out by a Sheeta. Sloppy ball, Curry. Here he is, lets it roll, Curry! Well saved there by Rory Bryan and the Hume City net. It was a bit of a tame effort by Curry, but the way he manufactured that chance was nothing short of amazing. Suns back on defence.
Yeah, unlucky by Russ Curry there. Bit of a chance. He turned his man expertly well. Does not look out of place playing against MPL outfits. Screams for a handball from the Hume forwards. Thought it come off the arm of a GV Suns player. Referee has waved those away very quickly as Paulick gets on the ball now. Ball's deemed to be out of play.
Yeah, not the best pass there by Paulick to Nash. It was just out of reach for the veteran fullback, and he looks to be in a little bit of trouble himself. Just a little bit of a limp on, but knowing Nash, he'll be carrying on till the cows come home. So there's England back on the park now for the Suns. Slot straight back into that midfield, and he'll be looking to get involved straight away. Rezai, little 1-2 there with Ochieng. Now Maricic can bring things away for Hume. Slides it out wide to Weir. Looks out to Mustafa, who's switch wings. Looks to take on Lalliott, but it's England to come across. Tyre just takes the Michaels. Hume City again on the ball here. Just starting to creep forward again. They know if they're going to get back into the game, they've got to do something soon. And that'll be that man McGlade looking to get things ticking. Big challenge there by Brocklebank. Still on it is Brocklebank, and somehow almost comes away with it. Mustafa out wide. Weir, first time ball, and that's tamed. Straight down the throat of Angelovski. And another chance goes begging for Hume City with just 15 minutes here to play at John McEwen.
Closed him down incredibly quickly there, Jimmy Lalliott. As we mentioned, absolute fan favourite of the GV Suns. Never heard a louder roar for someone getting brought on in a game as we did for James Lalliott. And credit to him, he has had his issues with injury, but he's certainly fit to play tonight.
So here's Lalliott, get things restarted. That one trickles off the boot of Russ Curry, and it'll be another Hume throw. So interesting to see that Mustafa and Rezai have switched wings. They obviously have deemed Mustafa on Lalliott to be a better matchup, has Hume. Whereas now Nash will have Rezai to contend with. And here we go, you can tell Mustafa's really the target now. He's some sort of player as the Hume City number 10. Got plenty of tricks in his arsenal, but shepherded well. Hume just having to knock things around, as they have done all night. Going to go out to Tennant. Slides it onto his left. Big header there by Joe Adu-Peters. Now Paulick. He looks to just make Mustafa go back, and he completes his assignment. Tennant. Balla. It's won there by Ashida. Suns could perhaps look to hit on the counter here. England still going. And a bit of a sloppy pass there, which is uncharacteristic of Jamie England. Bingham now. He'll go out wide to McGlade. He's got Nash for company. Still going McGlade. Still going McGlade. Digs on goal. And that one will be deflected out for a Hume City corner kick. He's like the Energizer Bunny, isn't he, McGlade? He's just been an absolute rocket. Obviously started out on the wing, but has drifted inside and has caused headaches aplenty for the Suns' midfield and backline. Let's see what he can produce here from the corner. McGlade. High towards the back stick. That'll trickle all the way out towards Mustafa. Digs it back in. Return serve. Cross country. Out to Rezai, and it was a shank by the big man. Curry does well and just plays the smart game. He's only 21 years of age, but Russell Curry looks wise beyond his years. That was smart, wasn't it, by Curry?
Yeah, definitely just wasting a few precious seconds there, just knocking the ball back, and Suns look to reset and go again. Less than 15 to go in this second half. Suns still leading 2-0. Lucky not to concede just before, by a very stray pass from Jamie England, very uncharacteristic there. But Hume weren't able to capitalise on that opportunity.
So England again, massive tackle. They're on Bosdawan. Jaccarini now. Well defended there by Weir, and Bosdawan just still nursing a little bit of a knock. Big challenge there by England. Of course, spent time at NK Dons back in England. Classy midfielder. Here's Paulick. Back to Lalliott. Nice little bit of passing here by the Suns. Jaccarini looks for the short option. England. And the Suns now. They're looking to perhaps set up a bit of camp inside Hume's half. That ball's asking a bit there of Jimmy Lalliott. And that'll roll out for a Hume City throw. Weir to take. Lalliott holding off Mustafa. And that one will roll out for a Hume City throw. So, Suns here. The fans are growing in voice. They're a little over 10 minutes away from making history at John McEwen. Progressing through to the round 32 of the Australia Cup would mean the absolute world to this club and to all locals here in Shepparton. Hume City feel this one should have been a bit of a layup heading into the game. A stray ball headed wide. It's got to be Angelovski across to spare Joe Adu-Peters of his blushes. He's barely placed a foot wrong tonight, has Joe Adu-Peters, but that one skidded off his head into the path of McGlade. Unfortunately for the Hume City number 9, it was Jake Angelovski out to meet it. Nash looks for Paulick. Still going as Paulick. Ball in. Looking for Giaccherini. And Weir defends well. Still going. Lovely chop there. Well found by Mustafa. Bowler. Deft header. Oh, that was a touch that had to be made there by Joe Adu-Peters. Angelovski skies it. And it trickles out for a Hume City throw. You can just see the desperation deployed there by Brian. He's ever so keen to get his side right up back the park and perhaps peg a goal back. Oh, Chiang, who hasn't seen heaps of the ball in the last, 5 or 10 minutes. Foul there by Hashida, and a double substitution here to be made by the Suns. So it looks like it's going to be the man who committed the foul, Taku Hashida. He'll be making way. So, 2 more substitutions for the Suns. Entering the field of play is Elijah Brooker, and the man we talked about earlier, Willie Sawiluma. Making way is Jamie England and Taku Ishida. So, Elijah Brooker fast earning himself a reputation as a cult hero of the club here at the GV Suns. Often deployed as a super sub, and he's come on and done just that in some of the league matches. Scored the winning goal in a number of fixtures so far in NPL 3, whereas Willie Sawiluma, been at the club for a number of years. You know what you're going to get with the Samoan. And here he is now. Sawiluma got the long ball. Just a bit too much on that one. It's Brian to come out. Almost looked like it touched his arm, but referee gives him the benefit of the doubt. Still now the Suns. Good touch there by Giaccherini. Drives it in. Backstick. Here's Sawiluma. Just waits for it, and it had to be cut out there by Tennant. End-to-end football here, John McEwen. As we can see, he's just starting to simmer down after a frenetic last couple of minutes. Ball forward, Bingham. That's going to have to be dealt with by Adu-Peters. Up goes Bowler. Wins his header, only as far as McGlade. Rezai drives inside. Bosdawan out to Weir. Now Mustafa. What's he got? Look to take on Laliot. Well defended there by James Laliot. Chase down. Curry now. Bends around the corner. And now Giaccherini's here. It's a 3-on-2 situation, but Maricic. It's like reading a Kipper book for the big man. Hume City now looking to get things back up the park. Ball out wide. Where now? Long ball. It's an option that Hume City are looking to opt for a bit more frequently now. That's a sloppy ball there by Giaccherini. Sorry, it was Brocklebank. Where again, he's had plenty of touches in the second half. McGlade. Chiang rolls it back. Finds his number 9. Hume City, if they are to venture forward in the Australia Cup, they're going to have to come up with something quick, and they could do so here. Ball forward, and again, Joe Adu-Peters across the clear.
Going to be a very tense finish to this one, Liam. Only About 6 minutes remaining here at John McEwen. Hume still probing and probing for that elusive goal. Haven't been able to score one yet in this contest. GV Suns really holding their own. Bingham up for the header. 2-2 tie to clear. Just touching on Brandon Giacorini quickly. He has definitely epitomised the spirit of the GV Suns in this second half. He has been absolutely ferocious. Astounding second half.
Can see Russ Curry almost moving in slow motion there. Running through Pudding, but he was just trying to hold the ball up for his teammates. He only had Paulican support. It was well defended by Hume City. Bell around the corner now. Ochieng on the halfway line. Bowler looks down the line, but that'll be picked up by Nash. Gets it out of his feet and drives inside. Well worked there by Nash, who's had a very solid game at left back. Had some fierce customers to contend with, but has answered every question posed. McGlade. He's fouled now. So about 5 minutes left of regular time here in the second half. In this round 7 Australia Cup tie between Goulburn Valley Suns and Hume City. Suns leading 2-0. Hume desperately need to come up with something and come up with something quick. Little flip-flap there by Mustafa. Gee, you don't see that often, but it's Nash across to clear opposite sides of the spectrum there. Nash and Mustafa. Well won there by Weir. Bosdawan. Inch perfect pass out to Ochieng. Skins inside. Still going Ochieng, but just a little bit too much, and a cry of frustration does leave his lips. Tennant. Only far as McGlade. You can tell he just wants to be on the ball. 2-2 tire again. An absolute force at the back. Hume City now. Kitchen sink, fridge, dishing washer. We're throwing everything at the Suns here. Mustafa, crafty little ball inside to Rezai, first time, and Joe Adu-Peters. He comes across and he's gone down with, it looks like cramp. The Suns will pray to their stars that it is just cramp, not some sort of hamstring injury, but that was an absolutely vital block by the big man.
So they just keep probing him, but they just can't seem to break through the centre-back pairing of Tyre and Joe Adu-Peters. He's definitely going to have A-League clubs on his case soon enough if he keeps performances like these up. Curry now. Gets past his man. Slips through Jimmy Lalliott. GB Suns cold hero, James Lalliott! Oh. What a goal that would have been by Jimmy Lalliott. He would have had a statue outside the ground too. Didn't go in, hit the crossbar. Even he can't believe it.
What a run by Matt Lalliott. And in that hole was Hume City able to expose, but gee whiz. What a goal that would have been. You're right, Blake. It was everyone bar the Hume City fans up on their feet here in the stands at McEwen Reserve. Did nothing wrong, did the right back, did everything right. The shot on goal was hit true. Unfortunately, it was just a coat of paint away from putting the Suns 3-0 up, but now Hume have another chance. McGlade, again, Adu-Peters. Can Curry get on the break again? No. Or can he? It's the two big men. Suns have thrown caution to the wind here. Joe Adu-Peters squares it across, and it's just a bit too far ahead of Willie Sawiluma. Suns really need to be careful here. They're left everyone forward, and really it's just inviting Hume City to get back on the break. Here's Rezai taking on Nash. Won by Jake Brocklebank. Jeez. Whatever the entry fee was to get in the door here, $8, $10, whatever. It was well worth it. Big tackle there by Brooker. Weir, out of frustration, slams one on goal, but advantage called by the referee. So a free kick for Hume City in a dangerous position.
His Adu Peters probably should have taken the shot on there. Very unfamiliar territory for him. Just a bit like the good old days where you'd chuck the centre back up top, bit of an Adrian Corbo style. Try and muster something out of nothing. Hume with what could be one of the last major chances of this game.
So just minutes left to play here. The Suns will have to step up and defend. McGlade, short option, and it's just not good enough by Hume City. It's been almost the story of the night summed up in that one little play. Jake Angelovski just taking so long here to get things restarted. You can tell just how much the win will mean to these fans here in Shepparton. And they've got to just pipe down for a little bit here because there is, as signalled by the fourth official, 5 minutes of added time left to play. Adu Peters headed away. Angelovski doesn't get all of that one, and Paulick will have to rise high. Flicks it on. Curry finds Giaccarini. Those two have been excellent all night for the Suns. That's a great ball. Well won there by Paulick. Flicks in. Curry goes towards the back stick. Can Brooker be the hero again? Drives it back. And well defended there by Bowler. Cleared out there by Bryan. Nash wins it off. Brocklebank out to Paulick. Gets it out of his feet. 1-2. Here's Paulick on goal. Slides it. And it's just diverted off target. That would have been the coffin. Or the nail in it, should I say. And now 2-2 ties on the ground. So that'll be another little tactic deployed by the Suns, looking to soak up some time. You really have to admire the Suns' attitude towards the second half especially. At 1-0 up, they refused to sit back and invite the pressure. At 2-0 up, they did the exact same, throwing everyone forward. It seems like they really wanted to really put out a statement and show the rest of the teams in Australia what they're all about this season. And now they're just about 3 or 4 minutes away from making history. Hume City. Is there a sting in the tail? Big header won by Bingham. Adu Peters smashes that one out for yet another Hume City throw. So back underway. Hume City on the ball. Lofted over by Tennant, but that'll be straight down the throat of Angelovski. So as this one tracks down, for those watching the live stream, we'll just reference the other round 7 cup tie going on tonight. It's currently Heidelberg United leading St Albans Saints 2-1. Meanwhile, Giaccarini slides it in, picked up well by Maricic. Lalliot, he's been electric since he's come on and does the smart play, takes it towards the corner. Ends up pushing his back, but the ref deems that to be play on. Are we going to see 2 Lalliots in the book tonight? Perhaps not. So, Hume City with a throw. Ball in. Half cleared. That's only as far as Bryan. Flings it out. McGlade. He'll look to get on the run. He's got men steaming ahead in front of him, but no real short options ahead. Maricic out to Ware. Hume City have to go direct now, as they do. Ball up. 1. Bit of class there by Joe Adu Peters. Just knocks that one back. Angelovski now. Just minutes to play here in Shepparton. Even less than that. You could dare say there might even be a pitch evasion at the final whistle. Mind you, can the Suns get one more? Not at the moment, they can't. There's Hume again, through Brian. Tennant streaming forward. Flings it out. Rezai, nice little turn inside. McGlade. Out to Mustafa. Crafty ball inside. Gets it back. Now McGlade. Drives through on goal. What can he produce? Handy ball out. Weir, first time delivery towards the back stick. Header won by Bingham, but forced over the bar. And so on this near side, we can see a swathe of GV Suns faithful lined up alongside the barriers, just waiting for the inevitable, and that is the GV Suns progressing to the national stage of the Australia Cup, the round of 32, the promised land. Angelovski, high. Curry rises, one. Weir. Flicked on by Ochieng. Brooker. He goes out to Willie Sauluma. He's got yards ahead. Fresh legs. Sauluma. Finds Curry. Nice little flick here. Giaccarini, he's never shy. Hits one. And that one was never really troubling Brian, but for the Suns, probably just about as important as a goal. Soaks up a few more seconds. Brian. Referee tapping his watch. Can't be long left. Well dealt with by Edo Peters. He'd be a shout for man of the match. Contested there. Curry. It's looking to burst away, but Maricic was there to meet it. And with that, signals the end of this round 7 Australia Cup tie. GV Suns progress through to the round of 32, beating Hume City 2-0. It's not fiction. It's absolute fairy tale here at John McEwen Reserve. What a game we've witnessed tonight here in Shepparton. Blake, what do you make of this?
Unbelievable stuff, Liam. Hume City come to Shepparton. They've rolled up. They've tried and tried, but they could not blow this GV Suns house down. Unbelievable stuff. GV Suns taking the lead in the first half. A little bit fortuitously, it may be said, but they've added a second. Won comfortably 2-0 in the end. Hume unlucky not to see any of their chances hit the back of the net, but absolute fairy tale stuff for the GV Suns. The crowd has been amazing. The town of Greater Shepparton dares to dream. The national stage beckons. GV Suns players could be rubbing shoulders with A-League legends. Unbelievable stuff here at John McEwen.
Absolutely. Wow. Bring on the big time, they say. Coach Craig Carley, of course, we've referenced it throughout this game, but the biggest game in the club history, and it goes the way of the Goulburn Valley Suns. Well, thanks for everyone who have joined us tonight on the live stream. I've been Liam Nash, joined by Blake Corso. Thanks very much. We'll see you in the next round.